Good evening. Our news summary for this Monday, 16th of March. Chief Justice Ronnie Govindan has ordered the skipper of the vessel Galatea to be remanded in police custody for 14 days, following a request by the prosecution. The French national will remain in detention while police continue their investigation into the sinking of the vessel last Friday. According to a police affidavit, while the exact cause of the incident remains unknown, investigators have found indications of possible negligence, including expired lifeboat certification and the vessel not being cleared to leave port. The prosecution also raised concerns about the risk of the skipper fleeing and potentially influencing witnesses. The vessel sank near Marie-Louise Island and Desrochers Island, and 3 people remain missing, 1 Seychellois and 2 Swiss nationals. Also in court today, Judge Natasha Burian has put a hold on the judicial sale of the former Buckingham's property at Pointe-Ucel, as the owner of the place, Robert Louis Investment, has filed a lawsuit against Absa Bank. The complaint alleges that Absa did not act in good faith when it brought the case forward. The Commission of Inquiry into the Hotel Development Project on Assumption Island has entered its final week of hearings. The first person scheduled to appear before the Commission this morning was former Vice President Ahmed Afif. However, Mr. Afif was unable to give evidence after requesting to speak in Creole.
Judge Matilda Toomey-Woods explained that the Commission could not accommodate this request due to limited resources. She stated that they were unable to provide an interpreter, that her secretary is not fluent in Creole, and that the transcription system used to record witness testimony does not recognize the Creole language. After leaving the hearing room, Mr. Afif gave his reaction. He said he wanted to speak in Creole so that the majority of people could understand what he was saying, as many members of the public are following the issue closely. Other witnesses appearing before the commission included the director of Atom Engineering, the company contracted to extend the airstrip on Assumption Island. In the afternoon, a representative of Assets Group also gave evidence. He was followed by Principal Secretary for Finance, Astrid Tamatav, who spoke about $3 million that Assets Group gave the government as a sponsor for the financing of the FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup.
The Seychelles Defense Forces has announced that it has resumed a permanent presence on Assumption Island with the deployment of a detachment of soldiers to man the Seychelles Coast Guard station there. The SDF has said in a press release that the station provides it with a forward operating platform to support its operations in the southwest of Seychelles EEZ, as well as to be able to react to incidents in the vicinity of Assumption Island. This is in line with the SDF's constitutional mandate. The Assumption facilities also contain surveillance equipment, which forms part of the SDF's coastal surveillance radar system network. Apart from Assumption, the SDF also has a military presence on Aldabra Atoll. The Ministry for Environment, Climate, Energy and Natural Resources has launched a week of activities to commemorate the International Day of Forests 2026. The activities started today and will go on until this Saturday, 21st of March. The week-long program officially began with a launching ceremony at the Vallée des Fruits. The ceremony included a symbolic tree planting activity where participants planted young fruit trees as a demonstration of the country's continued commitment to protecting and restoring its forests. This year's global theme is Forests and Economies. The director of the Biodiversity, Conservation and Management Division, Rodney Katt, highlighted the strong connection between healthy forest ecosystems and economic well-being.
way before we had the tuna industry or the tourism industry, Seychelles used to rely a lot on its forest resources. Although that is no longer the case, it still plays an important part in our everyday life. So we have the importance of forest as a watershed. Most of the water that we use is harnessed by the forest, and without the trees, we will not have the rivers or the water that we use every day. And I think this is where it's important that we encourage the next generation to realize the importance of forest and to get them to be on board. And hopefully, events like this could inspire future conservationists in the forests. Because what we've noticed is the maybe of late there's been a lot of effort towards marine conservation, and forest conservation has been, I would say, neglected a little bit. And I think we need to revive this because although we have a vast ocean, we've got a very limited amount of land and protected forests, a lot of which are in the highlands, where we have so many species which we probably have not even identified yet. And so we need to ensure that these ecosystems are protected for the next generation and generations to come.
The list of eligible SBFA clients whose loans will be written off is expected to be finalized and published by the 31st of March 2026. The Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning, Trade and Investment and the Development Bank of Seychelles, DBS, said in a joint statement released today that DBS is currently undertaking the necessary process to compile and verify the list of eligible prescribed cases in accordance with the Civil Code. This is in line with the announcement made by President Patrick Emini in his State of the Nation address on the 27th of January this year, and the subsequent joint press conference held recently by the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning, Trade and Investment and the Development Bank of Seychelles. They say that DBS is carefully reviewing the records of SBFA loans to ensure that all eligible cases are correctly identified. Once the process is completed, the relevant SBFA clients will be formally contacted by DBS with respect to the next steps. According to the Department of Trade and Investment, entrepreneurs are making progress in their business, but some are still facing certain challenges. That is why the department has launched a platform called Harbour for Trade, an initiative to commemorate International Women's Day. This will give women entrepreneurs, particularly those in commerce, a space to connect, share knowledge and overcome barriers or challenges they face in terms of trade. This is just the beginning of the platform, so they started with a small group of about 25 participants.
So we're trying to find ways to help these women in trade, we like to call them, address these practical challenges and clarify any doubts that they have at this moment in time. Because right now the aim of today is more of, like I said, it's the nature of a pilot edition. The aim is to actually gather this information and see how we can help them with practical resources that we have. For example, it could be through networks or maybe getting access to the e-tariff guide, or even, for example, to help them in connect them with further trade fairs that are occurring in the regions. So we are facilitating this initiative. We want to be this access point for women in trade and get them to feel comfortable to come forward with any challenges or even wins, anything that they are proud of. This creates sort of synergy and create this resource hub, like as mentioned, is called Harbour for Her Trade. The way forward is to have more of a analysis of how the workshop has gone through. So we'll actually receive feedback from all participants today. And we do wish to have this more of a recurring event, I would say. And the way forward is to actually see if we can actually do another event, particularly potentially maybe towards the end of the year.
And that's all for this news flash. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant evening.